When Jason and I first started dating, he was the kind of boyfriend every girl envied. He was affectionate, playful, and always found small ways to make me feel wanted. If we were out together, he'd slip his arm around my waist or sneak in a kiss just to remind me that, no matter where we were, he was proud to be with me. Those little gestures made me feel secure. They made me feel chosen. And I liked being chosen. But somewhere along the way, I convinced myself that his attention wasn't enough. That it was too much. Or maybe I started craving validation in a different way. I began following influencers online who talked about women setting boundaries and not letting men objectify them. I absorbed every clip, every soundbite, every thread. I let strangers convince me that affection was ownership, and ownership was oppression. One night, after dinner at his place, we were cleaning up the kitchen. Jason brushed past me, playfully slapped my butt, and laughed, "Hurry up, slowpoke." Normally, I would have rolled my eyes and swatted him back. But that night, I froze. A voice in my head said, "This is it. He's treating you like an object." So instead of laughing, I turned to him and snapped, "Don't do that. I don't like being objectified." Jason blinked, clearly caught off guard. Objectified? Babe, I was just messing around. We do that all the time. Well, I don't like it anymore, I said sharply. I'm not just your toy. His smile faded. He raised his hands as if surrendering. Okay. I didn't mean anything by it. I'll stop. The silence afterward was heavy, uncomfortable. He didn't try to kiss me goodnight. He didn't even hold me while we watched our show. That was the first night in our relationship where we went to bed without so much as a hug. At first, I felt powerful. Like I had drawn a line, like I had demanded respect. But as the weeks dragged on, I started to notice the shift. Jason became cautious. Hesitant. He stopped touching me altogether. No more little squeezes of my hand when we crossed the street. No more kisses on the top of my head when he walked past me. And definitely no more playful slaps or teasing. I thought he was just adjusting, that eventually things would go back to normal. But they didn't. Instead, every time he looked at me, it was like he was weighing his actions, second-guessing every move. The warmth that once came so naturally between us was gone. I told myself I wanted this. Respect, space, boundaries. But late at night, when I rolled over in bed and his back was turned, I realized I felt lonelier than I ever had before. One evening, I tried to bring it up again. You don't touch me anymore, I said, trying to sound casual but failing. Jason set down his fork. You told me you didn't like it when I did. You said you felt objectified. That's not what I meant, I rushed to clarify. I just meant, don't treat me like I'm some girl you can smack around. I still want affection. He studied me for a long time before answering. Here's the problem. I don't know where the line is anymore. One day you laugh when I flirt with you. The next day, you call it objectification. I'm tired of feeling like everything I do might be wrong. That cut me deeper than I expected. Instead of owning it, I got defensive. So you just give up? That's it? You stopped trying altogether? Jason shook his head. I'm not giving up. I'm protecting myself. I love you, but I won't keep walking into a trap where I'm always the bad guy. The conversation ended there. And our intimacy ended with it. Weeks turned into months. The distance between us grew until it was undeniable. We still lived together, still ate dinner at the same table, but we felt like strangers. Friends noticed. My sister pulled me aside one night and whispered, "You two okay? He barely looks at you anymore." I laughed it off, told her we were just busy. But deep down, I knew she was right. The breaking point came at a friend's birthday party. Everyone was drinking, laughing, joking around. One of Jason's buddies made a teasing comment about how he was too good of a guy to ever get into trouble. Without thinking, I blurted out, "Yeah, he's such a good guy, he won't even touch me anymore. Maybe he's scared of me." People laughed. It was supposed to be a joke. But when I looked over at Jason, his face was pale. He didn't laugh. He didn't defend himself. He just quietly excused himself from the table and went outside. I followed him, trying to explain. Babe, I was just joking. You know I didn't mean anything by it. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and said, you turned me into a punchline. You embarrassed me in front of my friends. Do you even hear yourself anymore? I tried to laugh it off again, but his eyes were cold. For the first time, I saw how done he was. A week later, he packed his things. He didn't yell. He didn't slam doors. He just calmly told me, I deserve to be with someone who actually wants me. Not someone who ridicules me for trying. I begged him to stay. I promised I'd change. I swore I didn't mean it. But he had already made up his mind. After he left, I tried reaching out to his friends, thinking maybe they'd help me convince him. Instead, they told me point blank, you did this to yourself. He gave you everything, and you pushed him away. Even my own sister, who used to be my biggest cheerleader, sighed when I told her he was gone. What did you expect? You told him you didn't want him to touch you. Then you humiliated him in public. How's a man supposed to come back from that? Now it's been 6 months since he walked out. 6 months since the last time he kissed me. 6 months since I felt his hand in mine. I thought maybe he'd soften with time, that he'd text me, call me, something. But he hasn't. And the cruel irony is that I still see him sometimes. Online, smiling in photos with friends, looking happier, lighter, freer. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here replaying every word I threw at him, every line I crossed, every joke I thought was funny at his expense. I thought I was making a stand for myself. I thought I was drawing boundaries. But what I really did was build a wall so high he couldn't climb over it, no matter how much he loved me. And now, I'm alone on one side of that wall, wishing more than anything I had just laughed that night in the kitchen, kissed him back, and let him know how much I loved being wanted by him. Because the truth is, I wasn't objectified. I was cherished. And I was too blind to see it until it was gone.